Let me say the quiet part out loud. AI isn't replacing comms pros, but it is replacing pieces of your job, and companies are reorganizing teams because of it. Hey everyone, Chris G here. We need to talk about what's happening with comms jobs right now and how AI is impacting them and what the downstream effects are for comms agencies. Comms jobs are being reshaped, not replaced. I get really aggravated when I see headlines in the media that say that comms jobs are being replaced by AI because it almost gives the impression like AI agents or AI technology or automations are actually replacing those jobs one-to-one. That's not what's happening. But what is happening is, take for instance, a typical comms job, like a senior communications manager. That sounds like one role, but in reality, it's a bundle of dozens of discrete tasks. A discrete task is something that is repeatable, checkable, and predictable. So tasks like media monitoring, first drafts of press releases, building weekly reports, translating or localizing messaging, things like that, creating briefing materials. These tasks are all important, but they're not the strategic core of the job. And here's the truth. Roughly 20% of what we do drives 80% of our impact. So that 20%, judgment, creativity, counsel, message discipline, relationships, etc., right, make up the 20%. That other 80% is execution. It's important. Someone's got to do it, but it's not really the type of activity that drives the needle. So over the past 36 months, companies have been investing heavily in AI technology and infrastructure, things like governance, training, workflow redesign, etc. Those investments don't pay for themselves. So companies are looking at where work happens and asking, where can AI take the task load so we can reassign, reorganize, or reduce? This has nothing to do with AI replacing a person one-to-one. But if AI does take even a third of those discrete tasks in a role, then companies will start concluding that they need fewer people in those roles. Not because the job disappears, but because the task volume does. And agencies feel this first. For decades, comms agencies carried the execution load for brands. Things like monitoring, press releases, repurposing, reporting, things like that, because in-house teams just didn't have the headcount. So they outsourced those tasks to their agency partners. Now, as companies are becoming more AI fluent, they're internalizing that work. And for the first time, we're seeing public evidence of this shift. I did a deep research report to look into and explore these insights, and I've left the link to the full report right in the show notes below. So here's what the data shows. 73% of marketing leaders using AI have already reduced external content spend. 83% say they expect to further reduce agency spending as AI tools improve. 11% say they would eliminate agencies entirely for basic content work once AI becomes good enough. These are not small signals. They are a restructuring of the financial foundation of the agency-client relationships. Now let's look at specific companies publicly stating the same thing. Mondelez said that it will slash fees paid to advertising agencies and cut production costs by 30 to 50%. Unilever said its AI studio produces assets 30% faster and is targeting double-digit percentage savings. WPP says that brands using AI are reducing the fees they pay to clients. In other words, brands are publicly acknowledging that AI is reducing their dependency on external agencies. And agency CEOs are acknowledging the same thing. So what does this mean for comms pros? The risk is not that AI will replace your job. The risk is that it will replace pieces of your job, the execution layer work, and the organizations will rebalance teams accordingly. A 20-person comms team becomes a 12-person comms team. A 12-person comms team becomes an 8-person comms team. Not because the work disappears, but because AI reduces the task load. And the remaining humans will spend more of their time on that 20% that really drives impact. So some of you may feel like, okay, that's good for senior level employees, especially at agencies. Not really. And that's for a lot of different reasons that have to do with how the agency model works. And if you're interested in me doing a video that breaks that down, comment below and I'll do another video that goes into explanation as to why that is. But essentially, the type of senior level employees who really specialize at that type of work and have the experience for that type of work are too expensive. And it's not really profitable for agencies to over index on those type of employees. But what it does mean for agencies is that this is existential because agencies have historically owned the execution layer. But right now, companies are internalizing execution. Procurement teams are pressuring agencies to pass along AI efficiency savings. And brands are stating publicly that AI is helping them cut external fees. The execution layer, the part of agency scopes with the lowest margin, is the part most vulnerable to AI automation. So the question becomes, if AI is now the new cost center, how will you show value in an environment where budgets are moving under our feet? That's what making your comms role AI native is all about. It's not about learning code. It's not about becoming an engineer, but learning to orchestrate AI systems and automate the execution layer and stay focused on the strategic layer and adapt as quickly as the landscape shifts. Because the work is changing. The expectations are changing, and the value narrative is changing. And comms pros who understand that shift will lead in the next decade of this industry. Let me know what you think, comment below, and let me know if you have any questions or want me to follow up on any of these others. The next video that I do will go into a little bit more about why AI agents can't do your entire job. So, hope this has been helpful.